Hey, how's it going, guys? So it's been about a month and a half since Zombies Chronicles came out, and I think it's about time I should give my opinion on it. Now, I haven't played it as much as I thought I would have, but I have played it enough, and every map enough, to give my opinion on it overall, and what I think worked and what didn't work. I'll start off by saying I'm glad that maps got added. You know, brings up Black Ops 3 to 14 maps total. That's about 2/3 of every Zombies map in one game, which is awesome. You know, they look so good. The models, the assets and all that, it just looks fantastic. But it's not without its flaws. I think one of the main ones for me is that they didn't put the Marines in Narked or Verrucked. Now, they have made it canon or whatever by saying that Ultimates were there and they were there in the Black Ops 1 version, but the thing is, they released this timeline along with like the announcement of Zombies Chronicles, and in this timeline they specifically stated the Marines were there, that Dempsey was in Verrucked and he was one of the playable characters, and it doesn't mention Ultimates themselves in those maps. And Zombies Chronicles itself is meant to kind of be like reliving the memories and all that. And Blundell says something about, you know, Ultimates' story, but ultimately Narked and Verrucked, them being there, has no meaning on the story whatsoever. So I'm just wondering why. Why no Marines? They do have the models for them. They use one for Peter McCain in the Grod Crovey intro, and in the Revelations trailer. One of the trailers is there. And they got those from one of the campaign missions in Black Ops 3. You go back to like the 40s or whatever, and there's Marine models, which they could have used. So that's kind of annoying that they didn't do that. I appreciate for Narked that they don't allow any quotes whatsoever from the characters to give to that silence, but it still could have been one step better by adding in the Marines. So the second point I have is regarding weapons. Now, I don't actually have much of a problem with the weapons. I mean, obviously, like, this is always going to happen. It was always going to be the Black Ops 3 weapons. We've got weapons kits for them. You know, why would they not use them? And I don't have much of a problem with them. If they could have put the Black Ops 1 weapons, the World at War weapons, or the Black Ops 2 weapons, you know, that would have been great. But they didn't, and I accepted that. But I think what annoys me, though, is I think... I don't want to sound like, you know, rude or anything, but Blundell clearly favoured Origins. So what I mean by that is he specifically put the MP40 wall buy on the map. He didn't put it on any other map. And I know that seems like a weird criticism, because like it's in the mystery box, I think, in all the other maps. I think. I haven't gotten it myself, but I'm pretty sure it is. But, you know, he went to the trouble of actually doing the MP40 itself when we have the HG40 from Zetsubo no Shima. Now, I would have been fine if you just put the HG40 wall buy in Kino, in Shinonuma and all that, but he only put it in Origins, which I find a little weird. I mean, of course he made Origins, so he's going to favour it, but it just sucks. You know, it sucks that, you know, Kino had the MP40, why couldn't you put it in there? And I guess to go on from that, some of their choices for what war weapons replaced what. So apparently the RK5 is equal to the MP5K. I don't know how that works because the Kuda is the MP5. It looks the same, it feels the same, it pretty much plays the same, but for some reason the RK5 goes in its spot on multiple maps. My third point is about Der Wonderfizz, and I'm kind of okay with it, but I'm not. I think for Origins it worked really well, and for Der Eisendrache, you know, they brought it back and all that, but it's like ever since then, I don't actually think it was in Zetsubo, but it feels like ever since Der Eisendrache, they've just thought, okay, let's just slap Der Wonderfizz in the map. Let's not give maps their own unique personality by having like limited perks. Let's just stick every perk on every single map. And I think that kind of detracts from the maps in a way. I think what makes up a map is also its perks and also gives it a personality, like I just said. But when you have all the perks available, there's no diversity, and I see this all the time, like with people like on Black Ops 3, they're getting bored. Apparently they strip like the ELO site because it's the best site of all their weapons, and suddenly they have a newfound appreciation because they had ELO on all their weapons. And so that's what I mean, you try to mix it up to give it some difference, but you put Der Wonderfizz in all the maps and it just kind of, I don't know, it muddles it up. And what's worse though is that Der Wonderfizz is glitched. It's not working properly. I mean, some people might think it's an improvement, but it's not doing its intended function. So in case you didn't know, on the Zombie Chronicles maps, Der Wonderfizz will only give you the perks that don't have a physical machine on the map. So you go to Ascension, you are only ever going to get Deadshot and Double Tap. You go to Narcodoran Totem, you're not ever going to get Mule Kick, which is like a plus for most people. You go to Kino, you're only ever going to get Widow's Wine, Stamina Up, and Deadshot because they don't have a physical machine. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of like it at times because it means I'm never going to get Mule Kick from it at all because it's in all the maps. But that's not the intended function of Dewand Fizz. The whole point of it is to be like the mystery box, but for perks. You know, you've got a chance of getting perks that you don't desire. You've got a chance of getting like all the weapons in it. And it still works like that on the Black Ops 3 DLC maps, but for Zombies Chronicles it's different. And so I just wish it would kind of work as intended. Like, don't do one thing for your normal DLC maps, but then do another thing for Zombies Chronicles. And I guess my last point is more kind of the small things, I guess. You know, Widow's Wine on Moon is arguably a bad perk to get. There's nothing good for it. You know, you could even argue Origins, because you're in the mud, the zombies can catch up to you much quicker and could easily hit your Widow's Wine grenades and end the round if you've got one. Now, I mean, you can avoid that by throwing away all your grenades, but sometimes you just forget that, you know, and the whole purpose is to have those grenades. So to throw away its function is like, why? Why even bother getting it in the first place? But yeah, it's small things like Takeo and Richtofen don't have their altered models. You know, Ascension and Moon, Richtofen's got that spacesuit on, they never explain why. Takeo doesn't have his hat in Moon, which I think was a really cool, unique thing. But they just kind of, yeah, I guess this kind of goes back to Varrock and Nacht as well. They just kind of went basic and just got the standard Ultimus models. But that's it for the negative stuff. Moving on to the positives now, and I think the Samantha Hide and Seek Easter eggs are so cool, such a good addition, and I'd love to see them do that for every map in the future. Just kind of like a little small, like what an actual Easter egg hunt is. You know, we call the main quests like Easter eggs, and that's just because that's what we've always done. That Hide and Seek Easter egg is the actual, like, what an Easter egg should be. I would have liked to have seen more variety in the songs. They all mainly seem to be Samantha's Sorrow. And on extension of that, the Space Dog Easter egg on Moon, that is so cool. They fully put in like an animated, like a little dog in a space suit, and it was more like it was a reference to the community when it was the theme for the original. And I did like that they added new Monty dialogue. I don't necessarily agree with what he says, and I think he actually bullshits in all of them. But that's a different video, but I do like that they took the effort to kind of, I don't know if they recorded, like they got Malcolm McDowell back in to record them, or if it's just like, hey, we'll get you to record these while we're doing Revelations, we may use these in the future, because they obviously did know they were doing Zombies Chronicles back then. I love that they made Moon single player now, because technically you could always do Moon with just one person. You would just need a second player to spawn in, I think it's the Wire, or one of the things. You just need a second player in to enable the egg, but you could always just do it as one person. I love the projector camera thing in Kino. It's absolutely awesome that they did that. So overall, I do like Zombie Chronicles. It does have its negatives, some kind of big ones in my opinion, but I think the sheer fact of playing these old maps redone in the Black Ops 3 engine kind of just outweighs them all. To see these maps alive, how they should look, it just makes me want to see the same thing with the other maps that didn't make it. You know, the Black Ops 2 maps, 5, Call of the Dead. You know, give us Zombie Chronicles 2 with those maps. But yeah, how did you guys like Zombies Chronicles? Did you like it? Is there a map that you loved the most in it that changed? Or is there certain things you disliked about it? Something you wish had been added? You know, just let me know your thoughts on Zombies Chronicles, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Cheers.